The entire team here at GMAuthority.com has been tracking the upcoming 2025 GMC Yukon refresh for quite a while now. In fact, we were the very first to tell you that the refresh model would actually launch as a 2025 model year vehicle and not a 2024, which was the original expectation. And our spies have captured photos of the refresh model completely undisguised in various trims. And now we're taking a look at what we should expect from the 2025 Yukon, which will be headlined by 1. An updated exterior, 2. An overhauled interior, 3. An updated powertrain lineup, and 4. Ultimately, new technology. So without any further ado, let's dive right in.
MOTROLIX.
Welcome back to the channel. I'm Alex Luft. Now, before I continue, I should note two things. First, none of this has been announced. I have not had any briefings about this particular vehicle. Everything that I'm about to tell you are our expectations and things that we have learned from sources familiar with the vehicles. So that's one. And then two, really I must ask that if you like videos like this one, if you want more of them, then please subscribe to the channel here on YouTube. That would really help us in bringing this kind of content to you, and it really helps with the entire YouTube thing becoming a success. So now without any further ado, let's start with the exterior. So at the front, the fascias of all trim models will be revised with new grills and lights. The headlights in particular will now feature a different shape, with GMC's signature C-shaped DRL wrapping a trio of vertically stacked LEDs that now will be placed lower on within the front fascia. The front lighting changes also extend to the fog lights, which will morph into a single round bulb versus the vertically stacked arrangement seen on the pre-refresh models. There will also be new grills for each trim level, and there will also be a new comms fin on the roof, which will bring along with it 5G connectivity and a puck-like shape. Now, I did mention 5G just now. That will replace the 4G connection that has been present and accounted for on the 21, 22, 23, as well as the 2024 model year Yukons. And the rear end will also see a few small updates. Now, the tail light housings will carry over, but the bottom half of the inner graphic seems to be new. It's this piece here, kind of at their inner edge of the graphic itself, towards the bottom of that graphic. Beyond that, there will also be a new trim piece between the tail lamps, which will be repositioned from its current location. Additionally, the exhaust will be revised depending on the engine. Some models will get a through fascia dual exhaust treatment, while others will get a quad tip treatment, just like we see on the 2024 newer Acadia, whose exhaust treatment was obviously inspired by that of the Corvette C8 Stingray. And finally, new wheel designs will join the lineup, including a massive 24-inch wheel option. In fact, I don't believe that there will only be one 24-inch wheel option. I do believe that there will be more than one, maybe 2 or perhaps even 3. Moving inside the cabin now, the refreshed 2025 Yukon will get an overhauled dash as a result of the integration of 2 new screens. The first of these will be an 11-inch driver information center, also known as the gauge cluster, while the second will be a 15-inch vertically oriented center stack screen. These will likely be the very same units that are used in the all-new 2024 GMC Acadia, and we also expect to see them in the overhauled 2025 and newer GMC Terrain. Some models will feature trim-specific badges at the upper end of the screen, and the integration of the new center screen will result in a redesign of the center stack as a whole, including, for instance, such things as the AC vents. In addition to that, the gear selector will be overhauled, meaning completely redesigned, going from the current push-pull style buttons on the dash to a steering wheel stalk specifically on the right-hand side of the wheel, exactly as we've already seen on the refreshed 2025 Tahoe and Suburban. And notably, we do expect that all 2025 Yukons will feature the same screen layout, which would be a departure from the pre-refreshed models, which give the Denali models a unique center stack treatment as a whole. Beyond all that, we expect the 2025 Yukon to introduce connected cameras, which is a fully integrated network of cameras that allow one to remotely view the interior and the exterior of their vehicle, in addition to doing things like recording crash and theft instances. We've already seen this revealed on the Yukon's platform mates, the 2025 Tahoe and Suburban, earlier this year. There will also be a new engine start button lifted straight from the refreshed 2022.5 and newer Sierra 1500. And finally, I expect a few improvements to the cabin's materials, colors, and textures, along with a new steering wheel to boot. And with all that, I think we could now move on to the mechanicals. Under the hood, we expect a familiar powertrain lineup, albeit with one notable difference from the 2021 through 2024 Yukons. So we believe that the naturally aspirated 5.3-liter V8 L84, as well as its bigger brother, the 6.2-liter V8 L87, both gasoline engines, will carry over, but the 3.0-liter inline six-cylinder LM2 turbodiesel Duramax will be replaced by its successor, which carries the LZ0 RPO code. Now, LZ0 not only makes more power and torque, but it also delivers several refinements and improvements, such as the elimination of the long crank issue, I guess we could call it, where the LM2, when you would start it up, it would actually crank a few too many times than you probably want to hear, and then it would start up. The LZ0 resolves that issue along with a few others. The GM 10-speed automatic transmission will serve as the sole transmission offering across the board, meaning across all trims. And it's also worth noting that the LZ0 will become available with the off-road oriented Yukon AT4 trim. And this was not the case with the 2021 through 2024 model years as a result of the engine not packaging with the AT4's trim-specific high-clearance front fascia. The LZ0 combined with the refreshed front fascia will address all of that. And then in regard to structure, the revised Yukon will continue to be underpinned by the GM T1 platform. Now let's talk about models and trims. So the 2025 GMC Yukon range will continue to be available in the regular length Yukon as well as the extended length Yukon XL body variants. And as for trim levels, the AT4 Denali and Denali Ultimate trims will carry over. In fact, we've already seen photos of these three completely undisguised. But the big question to me is what will actually slot underneath the AT4, meaning will it still be SLE and SLT, or will the elevation trim end up replacing the SLE and SLT trims as it already has on the overhauled 2023 and newer GMC Canyon, the overhauled 2024 and newer GMC Acadia, and the upcoming, at least from my expectation, the upcoming 2025 and newer GMC Terrain. All three of those models have now moved to replace SLE and SLT with elevation as the entry-level trim, which inside of it has several packages which allow you to equip it as kind of this base model, or as you select packages, it will get you essentially to where SLT was previously. So when will this refreshed Yukon goodness become available? Well, a few months ago, GMC released a sneak peek of the refreshed 2025 Yukon, thereby giving us our first official glimpse of the refreshed model. Since then, we've shown you all kinds of photos of the upcoming Yukon without any camouflage. And those of you who actually would like to check that out, check out the description below. I will have links to these spy shots there for you. So now, in its Q2 2024 earnings report, GM actually announced that the refreshed 2025 Yukon will be revealed on August 19th. So today, as I record this, is July 27th, Saturday. We're about 3 weeks away from August 19th, so we're getting pretty close. And I guess I should also note that earlier this year, GM announced plans to expand GMC's presence into more global markets, such as Australia, New Zealand, and China. So that means that the refreshed Yukon will very much become available in those markets. Regardless of market, production will continue to take place at the GM Arlington plant in Texas, which is actually celebrating its 70th anniversary this year. And I think that's about it for GMAuthority.com and the MOTROLIX Network. I'm Alex Luft. Thank you so much for watching. Be sure to subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.
MOTROLIX.